What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Behind the Struggle podcast. I'm your host, doing the most. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it dope. It's your boy, CEO, and I'm joined by the one and only Holy Guacamole. That's what I'm going to roll with, Alexia.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Alexia. Back at it with another episode, Behind the Struggle. I know you guys, not love, but like I know you are into this, like when we cover rap and hip hop and stuff, but sometimes we gotta do something else. Just sometimes, because not that it's tiring, but it's like, there's more to life than that.
I would agree. Something wrong with that
I was
statement.
ready for you to be like, nah, it's a culture. And
Like, all it is hip hop. That's my life.
it's in my blood. Like,
Yeah, like, I mean, partially that is that true, but yeah, there's way more to life than that. We have other interests. So, yeah.
all right, let's
Anyways.
see, guys, if I can pull out, if I can pull out the real Chris again this time. So,
Pause.
ew.
God.
So, Chris,
Alexia.
the first thing I want to talk about, and I want to ask you, obviously, but, you know, I want the audience to ask themselves.
All right, guys, we're all in this together.
Yeah, this is kind of like, it's a gray area, it's a slippery slope. We can get specific, we can stay general. So let's try to work through this topic, sort of about a specific sub-tier of loyalty.
Okay,
So-
pique my interest.
Yeah. So let's imagine, or you don't have to imagine because you have people that are close with you.
I do.
You have-
Unfortunate.
Damn, I'm so sorry to all his friends that are watching this. This is messed up.
I said unfortunate?
Oh, I thought you said unfortunately.
No, I said I do. I'm fortunate.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was
Okay.
confused. I thought for a second you took it as a shot, like, okay, because not all
Yeah,
of us
I
have
did,
friends.
because I was like, damn. Okay.
I'm off to a
anyway.
great start. Go ahead.
I know. Thanks for keeping it real.
Anytime.
So, there are some people, right, that like are like higher to closer to you, right, than others.
This is
Naturally.
cheerless. Yeah.
Of course. That's why there's a best friend, and like you can only have one. And we can argue about this later if you want, but like you can only have one best friend because that's your best friend. And then you can have as many as you want, like close seconds, you know what I'm saying? But like there's only one best friend.
Okay.
And then of course there's like the question of like family, because some family is obviously closer than others. Some families, your family and your friend. So then it's kind of like, where do they fall in the tier of like your friends and your best friend and your family, friend, cousin, brother, whatever, sister, right?
Yeah, where does everyone fall in, like, what bracket?
Right.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
so let's take this scenario, right? As someone who's like top 5. So you can, like the listeners or you, Chris, put your best friend in this seat, or somebody who's like top 5, like really high person.
Okay.
Now, let's say that somebody else that both of you know, to whatever degree, blatantly disrespects that person to you. Now,
Hold on,
you
repeat
weren't
that?
there.
So somebody we both commonly know, like an associate or another friend of both of us, disrespects my best friend in front of me?
No, not in front of you. Well, even if it was in front of you, but let's say for this specific example, not in front of you, right? But they're like completely disrespectful. So naturally, right, Chris being Chris, he would be like, well, that sounds crazy. That's not necessarily out of character for that person, but I want to hear their side. Not that I don't believe my best friend, but like, of course, I want to hear both sides. And then you hear both
liking
sides.
this role play with me. Okay.
And you hear both sides, and then you're like, oh yeah, that was absolutely rude. But they didn't say anything disrespectful to you, and this topic had nothing really to do with you. You weren't involved, whatever. Do
was
you at
between
this
them.
point, like, sort of stop speaking to this friend because your best friend and this person don't speak anymore?
Damn. Huh.
Be honest.
No, this is an interesting question because I have actually been in this position where I've had people that, excuse my French, that I don't fuck with no more, but people that I consider like really close friends still fuck with them. Not even if it's like on a regular basis, but like they still follow them like on IG or whatever. And before, like, I guess when I was younger, I used to get caught up on that. I used to be like, yo, if you're loyal to me, like, you cut all ties with me. But then I realized, I'm like, people aren't my slaves. People are going to do what they want to do. So I have to learn that, like, my issues with one individual isn't someone else's issues. I was like, but it depends on what the issue is. I don't want to go too deep because I know you asked a very simple question, but, you know, it all depends. Like, a quick story, because I know I fucking rant, so I'm making
never
this
quick, you guys, but,
but
strap in.
Back in college, I had a roommate, and we basically had this video game tournament, right? And there was a pot for the money to win. And when the other guy won, I was in second place. I went to go get the money, and the money was gone. It was missing. So the guy who was my roommate, his name was Julian. Yeah, fuck that guy, so I'm gonna say his name. He basically told everybody I stole the money because he basically was saying that, oh, I just bought a new video game the next day, and it was the same amount as the money of the thing. So I was like, no, I just had the money. But so it caused problems between me and everybody else, and Raheem and other people kind of like sided with me because they already saw this guy, Julian's character. Anyways, months later, it came out that he was the one that stole the money. And it was and all the people that he was friends with, it was his money, their money that he stole. So he blamed it on me, and they were all like hating on me. Meanwhile, I was like, you're walking around hanging out with Judas. Like, Judas is in your crew, bro. Like, that's the dude. So when I found that out, I cut ties with all those people because I'm like, yo, like, it may just be $5, but it's a principle. Like, this person lied on all of y'all and is still around y'all and took your money and then lied to you and said it was somebody else and is in your face, like, being fake. So me, Raheem, and a couple of people, like, all kind of sided with me, and we're all like, nah, like, that dude is shady. But the other people were like, whatever. And after a while, I just kind of, like, I never talked to him, but I just, like, realized I can have separate relationships outside of that relationship with him, even if he was a common acquaintance to some of us.
Okay, but that was directed towards you, kind of. So, like,
yeah,
let's say
specific. Yeah, no,
you're saying Raheem then is one of your top 5.
Definitely, yeah.
So Raheem is a guest on our show quite often. He's the dapper gentleman with the glasses, the bald head, and the suits. If you guys don't know. So let's make this more specific because I got your answer, but that kind of wasn't what I was asking. So let's say now that you and Raheem are top 5 friends to each other. Maybe not best friends, but, like, let's say you're each other's number 2, whatever.
Yeah, let's make it specific. Emmanuel's my best friend.
So do you want to use Emmanuel or Raheem?
Well, say that. I didn't hear you over there.
because this is what Chris does, you guys. Like, I'll say something, he's like, I need every detail or else it doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry.
Do you want to use Emmanuel or Raheem?
I'm very specific. Emmanuel is my best friend, so I'm saying... Do you want
to use Emmanuel or Raheem?
Let's use Emmanuel, all right?
Okay, so
Emmanuel, that's my nigga. That's my nigga.
Okay, Emmanuel is Chris's best friend, like his number 1, like, above everyone else. So again, now please, Chris, like, take Emmanuel's, like, emotions out of this. I'm talking about you, but the thing happened to Emmanuel. Let's say, right, that somebody else that you and Emmanuel both, like, know.
Raheem.
No, because Raheem's in your top 5. Somebody else.
Oh, okay, so lower.
Not even a good friend of it. I'm just saying, like, somebody you know. Let's say that idiot from college, or even that cockroach, Jonathan, that thought he could rap, and all he said that he fits in a fridge.
Nice. I appreciate the jab, even if y'all don't know who that is. Continue.
Hopefully he knows who he is. Let's say Jonathan disrespected the shit out of Emmanuel. Like, disrespected the shit out of him.
Okay.
Now, I'm asking, and Emmanuel's like, hey, like, I'm not really trying to, like, go, you know, cutthroat on this guy or know him as well as you do, maybe, or whatever. But he said this, and that, and that's crazy. Now, my question is, do you continue to talk to, what's his name? Jonathan, or are you kind of like, in a sense, and not blindly loyal because he disrespected the shit out of Emmanuel, but you weren't there. Are you loyal to Emmanuel in this scenario?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
okay.
Just because because I'm going based off of my real relationship with Emmanuel, and I know Emmanuel's character. That's why it's easy for me to kind of, I guess, grasp it. So I apologize if it's like too specific. but I know his character. And Emmanuel usually wouldn't ask anything about that. If Emmanuel had differences with somebody, he would let it go. But if he felt that kind of way to express that to me, then I would know it was something like serious where it was really disrespectful. And if this guy is just like an associate or an acquaintance, yeah, like he's gone. Like I don't care. Like you being absent in my life makes no difference to my life.
Okay. Now, what if then, let's switch it up just a little bit. It was Raheem, not Emmanuel. So top 5, not best friend. It was Raheem. And it was someone that's a little higher on the scale than Jonathan. I don't know. I don't have an example, but like somebody that, like someone in college, like you went to college together. Someone in college again that y'all were cool with, there was nothing wrong, but he disrespected the shit out of Raheem. And you were even there, in a sense.
Oh, okay, so it happened in my absence, like, let's just say hypothetically, Brendan disrespected Raheem to his face, like there was an interaction between the two of them that I wasn't present for.
Yeah, like disrespectful, racist, like, checked all the boxes.
Okay.
And you know, Raheem, let's again not get too hooked on details because Raheem is a great guy. He's not too confrontational. So I don't mean to be like, oh, he's not going to say anything. He's going to cry to Chris later. No. What I mean is like, Raheem kept his cool, told the guy off respectfully, and then they went their separate ways. And then Raheem went to you later and was like, yo, Brendan said this, this, and this. And I have a recording of it because I was so shocked that I turned my camera on and you have proof and everything. And you're like, well, you know, and then let's say Brendan actually hits you up as if nothing happened because whatever, and he's like, yo, want to go to the movies on Saturday? What do you do?
Oh damn. Okay, if I hear about that, honestly, this is probably what I would honestly do.
Okay.
I would act like I don't know anything. I would go to the movies with Jonathan and then act in the movies.
We're talking about Brendan.
Oh, sorry. Ooh, sorry. Oh, man. Brendan. Oh, thank God. Don't put that on me. I would go to the movies with Brendan, and then afterwards, when we came out, and then, you know, people talk, doing the grab food, I would bring up the what happened. And I would be like, yo, so, like, what's going on with you and Raheem, man? I'm like, I heard that this happened. I was like, I kind of want to hear your side.
Okay, and then he tells his side, which you actually saw the recording of, but you heard his story, and he basically wasn't sorry for what he did.
Oh, yeah. So then right there, I'll be like, all right, man. I'm like, look, I think, like, you and me, I don't have an issue with you personally, but Raheem is a very close friend of mine that I hold dear. And at the end of the day, like, if you're going to disrespect Raheem like that, knowing the kind of, like, relationship I have with him, it's a bit of a disrespect to me and a slight to me. You know, and I think it would be out of character for me to continue to associate with you. I don't have any problem with you personally, but I do have a problem with how you treated him. And that's not going to fly with me. Okay.
I mean, to be honest, that is almost exactly the response I was expecting you to say. And I apologize again to the viewers because we had to get so specific to, like, pull that out.
But I'm sure for some of y'all, you know, let me know, like, if that helped y'all out, like, that kind of make it more...
Just like a general loyalty test, because I mean, at the same time, I do think that, like, people who are just blindly and overly loyal are, like, also very weak and followers. They're not leaders, they need direction. So, like, I understand, like, you know, the dynamic. There has to be a good balance in everything, not just this topic. And I knew you weren't like that, but I just wanted you to think about it and then, like, give me an honest answer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it would honestly be. I mean... You and I had that situation with the actual guy, Jonathan, where it was something about the podcast. He, like, commented, and then Alexia didn't mean anything, like, by it, like, anything, like, serious. And then he, like, started going crazy, kind of like these fresh and fit assholes, like, and then he started messaging me on the side, talking bad about Alexia. So then he then called me on the phone and was like, oh, like, what's wrong with this bitch and blah, blah, blah. And I literally straight up told him, I said, yo, man, I said, that's my partner. And I was like, I've been with this person for some odd years. I've known this person for this long. And I'm like, you don't really have a place to have an opinion on this individual to me. Like, you're getting all butthurt off of something on IG. I was like, I have an actual like day-to-day relationship with this individual, and then you're expecting me to side with you because what? She's a female, and like you're just saying she's a dumb bitch, and I literally cut him off, and I was like, nah, bro, like I can't rock with you, and I cut it off. He still tries to message me to this day, like, and I don't, not at all, I don't even entertain it, because to me, I'm just like, if I told you like this person is close to me, this is my partner, this person manages me, we run a podcast together, so obviously I spend a lot of time with this person, and you're gonna blatantly like talk bad about this person to me, and then I'm just gonna be like, then be fake with this person in their face and act like all that shit isn't going on in the background. Maybe it's just me and my character. Some people are allergic to peanut butter. I'm allergic to fakeness. So when I see that shit, I don't like it. That shit don't even like need to be in my vicinity.
I mean, that does speak to your character. That is a different case, though, because he was talking to you. He wasn't talking directly to me. So yeah, he was like trying to boy up. But I mean, loyalty is probably a subject that we could go on and on about, but I just kind of want to leave it there. So, like, leave a comment below. What do you think about, like, the sort of scenario or similar to what I said? And then if you guys want, like, more loyalty, talks, that's fine. But, like, I think, yeah, like, gang loyalty is a little toxic. I think, like, family loyalty is toxic when they're like, but that's your cousin. You have to blink. So, no. But anyway,
like what I think when it comes to loyalty, I agree. I think a blind loyalty is kind of dumb because you don't really know people's true intentions or what's going on behind the scenes. But I definitely think it's a bit harder when there's like a certain dynamic amongst the group. I don't know, this is something I've always struggled with. I mean, I'll be open about this on the podcast. We had a situation in my friend group, which never really happens, with one of my closest friends, Miss A. To this day, I still feel really bad about it. Like, I take full to blame for how that situation.
Didn't Miss A find you recently on Facebook?
Yeah. And
I hope he is listening.
I hope he is, man. I mean, because I still love you. I still miss you, man. I still wish you the best. There's really no hard feelings. Like, you already know it, bro. Like, I've said it in my messages that I've sent to you. But, life sometimes, we just don't have the time to, like, catch up like we used to, my work schedule, whatever. Anyways, when it was something like that and, in that situation, Miss A was being, like, wild, like, disrespectful for the point, like, he even cursed out me. He cursed out Emmanuel. Like, he even cursed out Cruz, and Cruz had nothing to do with the situation. Cruz was just there quiet. Like, he was like, I'm just here to play Among Us, and now this is happening.
That's not the first time Cruz has caught a stray.
Yeah. Poor Cruz. Shout out to Cruz.
Sorry, Cruz.
And he started wilding out, and then my cousin wild out on him. And that's what kind of, like, set everything off. And then everybody started hanging up the phone, and then it was just me and him on the call, and then I hung up because I didn't know what to say. And to this day, that's, like, the one thing that bothers me, because it's like, fuck, like, if I had stayed on the call, maybe I could have salvaged it. But, like, the tensions were high, like, in the moment, and, like, emotions were going. So it's like anybody could say the wrong thing to make it worse or make it better. Like, you don't know in that situation. So I opted to hang up the call, and then the rest of us got on a separate call to reflect on, like, what the hell just happened? Like, like, what the fuck was that? Like, what was going on? Like,
heated.
Yeah, and we were all, like, hurt but confused because, like I said, in my crew, like, we've never had a fight like that. We're usually, like, pretty, like, chill, and if there's an issue, we're able to talk about it. But it, like, blew up. But when I noticed, it was outsiders from the group that were, like, stirring the pot. Because among us, it was like, oh,
no pun intended.
Yeah. Like, because, like, among us, it was, just us chilling. Like, me, Cruz, and Emmanuel kind of knew, and we were still willing to extend the olive branch and forgive Miss A and have the conversation. But my cousin and the other person were just like, nah, like, fuck that guy, blah, blah. And I was just like, well, you don't have the history and the relationship that we have with this individual. So it's not that easy for us to be like, nah, fuck you. Like, the 11 years of we've known you, just throw it in the trash.
And emotions are wild.
Yeah, so my point, like, I can be guilty of that, trying to be a little bit too diplomatic at times, because even if I have a problem with somebody, I try to think of the greater good of the group. But at the end of the day, like, I have to make a decision. I just think for me, when it happens so close to home, it's a bit difficult. And I think, man, just to get real personal, I think this just kind of has to, like, stem from my own personal trauma, like, with my family and shit. So I think that's kind of what it is. I mean, not to go too deep in details, but like I said, like my parents separated when I was like 11, 13. I moved out of New York, went to Pennsylvania, a state I've never been to in my life. I'm born and raised in Queens, and like I just saw my whole family like fall apart, like being like torn from the seams, like right in front of me. So for me, it's just like my friends have always been like a second family to me, if not at times even more family to me. They've been there for me more than my actual family at times. So
no, that makes sense. And before the YouTube watchers talk shit, I'm not laughing at you. I just am kind of laughing that like this,
it went this far.
Completely turned into a therapy session for Chris.
I know.
Like,
Alexei just set me up, bro.
Like, no, I didn't. I swear. Like, this was not intentional.
I'm like the little like pig in the farm, just like following the maze.
The little guinea pig.
Yeah. Go ahead, go make the left. Very good.
Oh my gosh.
But I think that's what it is for me. So like, I think I try harder, and shout out to my friend Christine. She's one of those people that try to keep me like with my faith walk on a straight path, because in the past, and I think that, and I don't even know if this is an excuse, in the past I was quick to cut people off, but because of my walk with God, I'm trying to be more forgiving. I'm trying to be more understanding and see the other side, that like my perspective isn't the only one. Like I may not be able to cohabitate with you, but I could still have love for you in the distance. I just don't have to associate with you. Which is funny. I actually was working on a song about this, about one of my friends. The record was going to be called Old Friends, and kind of just like, like even though we've known each other for a while, like the distance is like has kind of like wear and tear and kind of diminished, and like it's still love. It's just love from the distance, because it's just like we're not really in each other's lives like that. We've kind of outgrown one another, and it's like we're holding on to what was when we were teenagers, but like we're grown men now. We're responsibilities. We got jobs, and it's like at a certain point, it's like how many times we're gonna relive the past and not be present in the present moment.
Ironically, my mom was telling me something similar very recently. She was like, if you sort of like don't like refuse to grow, like you're using that like avoidance tactic, it's actually hurting you.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I completely agree, but I also do think that God did not intend for us to like attack every situation head on. I think we need to pick our battles, like choose them. So I understand like avoidance makes you weak, like if you keep doing it, for sure, but like also you should not be trying to like confront every single problem that you have, especially all at once or as soon as it comes. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah, especially if you try to confront it and the results are not favorable, and it's like, why try to confront it again? Like it's just,
well, walk with God or not, right? Like our bodies and mind are like our vessels. So if we're to serve God, we need to be of right body and right mind. And that means healthy, obviously physically and mentally. And it's sort of like if you stay doing that, how are you can't fill from an empty cup. How are you going to not only help the next person, but yourself? So again, I'm not suggesting to avoid every confrontation, but I'm also not suggesting to fight not all of them either. There has to be a balance, again, like I said at the beginning of the podcast. So shout out to my mom and Christine.
Shout out. Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, this is getting like deep now, because it got me thinking. It's like, just like,
I guess, go ahead, go off.
It's just, I guess, my own ways like protecting myself, or like red flags going off. And I think that's kind of like reluctant, because I'm the type of individual that doesn't like to be controlled. When I feel somebody is trying to do so, like it's just my natural inclination to kind of like break free. Like, nah, like you're not. I'm out. Like, sorry, like you mean good, but I don't like that you're trying to like control me and like lock me down in some kind of shit. Like, you gotta allow me to be me. My point to that was, I was in a relationship like 5-6 years ago with this individual. And well, no, my point too is just one particular situation.
This is a full therapy session. Yeah, you guys are getting the tea.
Just because I'm trying to get y'all to understand like my perspective.
Bring it.
Because if I just start speaking vaguely to you're going off of your experience, the listener, or you, Alexei, and they're like, well, why does he feel like that? Like, it's that easy for me. It's like, well, yeah, like you don't.
Nah, ain't nobody judging. Come on. 5-6 years ago,
look at her. Y'all see y'all? Look, she's happy. Nah, but I remember we were playing this like video game, and it was like a game of choices. I think the name of the game was Until Dawn, and there was like a choice where like the one character had to pick between his girlfriend or his friend, and like to let one of them die. And I remember this individual was saying to me at the time, because she did not like one of my closest and dearest friends, Christine. It's like,
the individual being your girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was basically saying like, oh, like if that was Christine and me in the decision, who would you choose? And I'm gonna be honest, like
you should.
In my heart, I knew I was like, I would have chose Christine. But outwardly I said her to appease her. And I was mad because I'm like, if you're that insecure where you're gonna make me have to choose between you and my friends, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody like that. Like, you should be able to respect that, but the fact that you're putting me in that position, like, says a lot about you. So I think now when that happens to me and I feel like I get put back in that position, I try to, like, not go, because, like, that sat bad with my soul to, like, lie to her and say yes, but also knowing that behind my friend Christine's back that I'd said that, knowing that I would have chosen her like any time of day, like over this individual. So like I lied on multiple levels and I didn't like her. So I think when it comes back up, especially with my friends, like you ask anybody, my friends like mean the world to me. It's just it's a defense mechanism. So like I try, like I'm like, maybe if I just back down and do nothing, like it'll figure itself out. Like maybe I don't need to like take action, but sometimes I have to. It's just, you know, sometimes by taking action you make shit worse. It's me. I know.
Okay,
I'm just rambling now.
Same thing, me or Christine?
Nah.
I'm joking. I'm just kidding. I had to put Chris in the hot spot because he already chose to sit there, so.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
What about you in these scenarios?
What do you mean?
Like,
which one?
The second one, if you were dating somebody, right? And then they were like, okay, like you have to choose between, like, and like the game was like, oh, you gotta choose between your girlfriend and your friend, and then your significant other is like, all right, if that was so and so and that was me, who would you choose?
So you're asking my significant other and you?
I guess I don't want to put myself in that position. I didn't want to seem like
that's what
I
I'm
was
saying,
like
because of course every variable would have a different answer, right? So it's kind of like you can't just say, what if two guys? Like I'd be like, I'd kill both of them. Like what guys are you talking about? Like,
all right, who is your best friend?
I don't have any friends.
Oh my gosh.
I had a best friend for a very long time. Her name is Kirsten. Nothing happened. She, you know, we just kind of grew apart, distance and everything. I would love to say she's still my best friend, but to be honest, like, we don't just talk that much anymore. But I mean, I guess for argument's sake, she would be like if I was, I'd ask her to like carry my casket, like the 6, you know, she'd definitely be there still.
Okay, so let's say in this situation, your boyfriend, whoever you were dating with at the time, you were sitting there playing this video game with them, and that choice came up, and they were like, oh, like, who would you choose between me and Kirsten?
I don't want to be like you now and get all specific, but like most of the guys that I was with in the past are fucking losers, so I would absolutely choose Kirsten over him any day. But I guess the scenario, right, is like, this is the same thing as like the Spider-Man analogy, right? Like you're holding the 2 ropes and one of them is X and one of them is Y, and then you're in the middle. Well, who would you save? Because you can only save one. Yeah. And with most choices, because I've had conversations like this before, with most choices, not like all of them, I would try to negotiate or see somehow if like I could save them if they would end me.
Okay, but
like I would tie the things together and just, you know, fall and like let them live, and like yourself. I would for most things that's what I would do. Not because, I mean, that's why I like certain like psychological thrillers or like some shows that like make you choose between 2 impossible choices. I like those, but so yeah, I mean, if it were anything like that, I would probably most likely like be like, nah, let them go and like take me.
Gotcha. See, I think for my thinking, and maybe, and I'm not saying this is not how you were thinking either.
That's also not a noble answer, just for the audience to know. Like, I kind of like,
sacrificial.
don't want to be here. Yeah, so it's not like I'm better than everyone. I'm Captain America.
Like, I'm
it's
just over it, y'all. Like,
I'm good. Like, you guys want to stay alive. Like, anyway, what were you saying?
Just get me out of it. I think for me, and I'm not saying like this isn't like an option for you or choice or hasn't crossed your mind, but the second somebody brings that up, like, I have to sacrifice somebody else for them, already starts to make me question their character. So, like, I think for me, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. And it's like, why can't we just coexist? Like, why does it have to be a choice?
It's crazy that you said that, because I've asked other people or, like, boyfriends in the past this question, but so that I could gauge their character. So I would be like, oh, me or X, Y, and Z. But it wouldn't be like this girl that I'm jealous of. It would be somebody that I want him to say that he would let me die, if that sounds weird. Like, not to be morbid, but I'm like, I want to see where your priorities lie. So let's say, hypothetically, I said on a previous podcast I would never date anyone with a kid, but, like, let's say if this man that I loved had kids, and I was like, oh, your kids are me. Like, who dies? Like, he better choose me. And if he doesn't say that, even if he's lying, like, I'd be like, oh, I need to reevaluate this relationship. That sounds like, not manipulative, but, like, maybe a little toxic, but I'm like, no, I need to know, like, your character. And it's not that I, like, want you to kill me, obviously, but, like, would you, like, your kids have to come first, you know?
Yeah, no, your kids definitely have to come first. But at the same time, I also just think that question is a sick question to ask, you know, because once again, I think it says a lot about your character, and you putting the person you love, like, in a difficult situation to choose. You know, it's like,
we just said, right, that you don't grow in comfort. We literally just said that. So, like, if you're in avoidance, then, like, stop. But, and again, it's
I don't think it's avoidance. To me, it's also like that same scenario we talked, where it's like, oh, like, I want someone to die for me to prove how much they love me. And to me, I'm like, I don't want to be with nobody like that.
No, that's crazy. No.
That's what I'm saying. But it kind of, for me, like, it teeters within that realm. That, like, that's, like, wild. Like, why you gotta go that far to be like, I need to feel validated. I need you to shit on other people to make me feel better. And it's like, and you go see a therapist. Like,
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because if I ask the question expecting them to save me, then that would be like a psychological problem, I guess. Yeah. Not saying that, like, I cracked the code, but, like, yeah. Well, aside from that.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. That we both got real a little deep there. So Alexia did, and telling me about her friends and whatnot. Go ahead, though.
Sure.
You see how guarded she is? Speaking of which, I have a song called Guarded on my albums on all streaming platforms. Check that out. Continue, Alexia.